A quick note before we get into the episode. Oversharing is a podcast for entertainment purposes only. It is not a medical podcast and does not constitute medical or psychological advice. Always seek the advice of your physician or mental health professional. All right, let's do some intentions.
All right.
Hi, Jordana and Dr. Naomi. I always love your advice and could really use some about my current work situation. I started a new job a few months ago, and after a difficult negotiation, settled for a salary that is around $20,000 less than my last job and is quite frankly proving difficult to live off of. I hadn't been working for approximately 6 months prior and accumulated some debt as a result. At the interviews, I told my employer that I would have a really difficult time living off of what he was offering, but he would not budge, as he told me he quite literally could not offer more. As it is a small law firm of less than 10 people and we do mostly public interest work, I believed him. At around the same time, they hired somebody else who was in the same year as me in law school, and we have become close. Today, he and I started talking salaries, and I found out that he is making a salary that is 54% more than me. Not that she calculated or anything. I am absolutely fuming. I feel so manipulated by my boss and I literally cannot look him in the eye. Obviously, I need to renegotiate my salary and we have a 3-month review coming up. But I need an intention to help me go to work every day knowing my boss would deceive me into thinking he could not offer more. I feel undervalued and so ashamed that I allowed myself to be so naive as to believe he had no more to offer me. I don't trust my boss anymore, and I have so much resentment over the sacrifices I've made to live off my current salary and the daily stresses I have over making ends meet. Since it's a small team, I have to work closely with my boss every day, and being around him currently enrages me. It's quite frankly getting in the way of my work because I find it hard to put energy into my files and do the work for my boss knowing that he has taken advantage of my trust like this. By the way, I know I sound really dramatic. LOL, I'm just genuinely really, really pissed about this, and I only just found out today. Any advice you can offer to help me get through the next few weeks until our salary review would be so helpful. Sincerely, a bad at negotiating Betch.
Yeah, this is kind of infuriating. I mean, look, I would be really pissed. Especially I think what comes to mind for me is like the male-female dynamic, and thinking that maybe that has something to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Men getting paid more than women. But what's interesting is maybe this was like a test of some sort, like
If she is a lawyer.
right. Like if she's a lawyer, like, are you going to fight? Are you going to be able to like assert yourself? Are you going to be able to, say, hey, I'm not taking any less than this, or, kind of bluff to maybe the other guy did some of that. Maybe he was like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not going to take anything less than this. And then they came up to it.
The person who has more power in a negotiation is the person who's most willing to walk away.
Yep.
So that could be a very big part of it. One thing I will say as a former business owner, something stood out to me in what she was talking about when she was negotiating that you really should never do. And that's, she told him that, she told that she would have the employer that she would have a really difficult time living off of what he was offering. That's not the best way to negotiate. You should always negotiate by saying why you're worth more to the company. The company doesn't care how, what, again, at the end of the day, it's a business. They don't really care if it's harder for you to live off of this salary. They care about like whatever is going to be the most beneficial to the company. That's the capitalist society we live in. I'm sorry. So to negotiate by saying this isn't enough for me to live off of, or this is less than my previous salary, that's not really a strong argument to the person. If she negotiated by saying, I'm worth all this, this is my proven track record of closing these deals, or again, I don't know exactly what she does, and this is how I'm going to be worth so much more than the amount that you're going to be paying me to the company, I think that would have been a stronger argument. And I mean, in negotiations, both sides are trying to get the lowest or the highest number available, and she took the job at the lower number.
Yep.
So again, I'm not saying that I wouldn't be irritated. He said he could not offer more. So maybe he could not offer more to you.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And I do think, especially because if this was like a sales job or a law job, or if this was a job as like a nurse or something, I might be more irritated because I think, like you said, using the negotiation tactic of like, I can't live off of this, probably showed like a certain
Right.
weakness in there that then made him think, okay, well, I'm not impressed with her negotiation skills here. So maybe I am going to only offer this top amount, or maybe there was something in there in this particular field that didn't feel, like you said, that, wasn't giving the best impression of her ability to,
Right.
be assertive.
And here's the thing, just because someone's at the same level as you, because she graduated law school at the same year as someone, that doesn't mean you have the same skill level or that you're the same. Again, I don't want to insult her, but I'm saying that doesn't mean that you're the same value to the company.
Right. Yep.
It could, I mean, again, it could be just that she's not a good negotiator, or it could be like maybe there's something in her skill set that she could work more on. If I were going to go into the 3-month negotiation and I would were her, I would list all of the ways that I'm valuable to the company and advocate that you want more, and then say if I don't really feel valued here, I need to find somewhere that values me at the rate that I was looking for. I mean, she says that she took a $20,000 pay cut, so I'm assuming that she's gaining something else, because usually
Yes.
you don't take a pay cut without gaining something else, whether it's better working hours or something else. Like at the end of the day, there's an amount someone's willing to pay you, an amount that you're willing to accept. And if those two don't meet somewhere on the axis, then the job, you're not working there.
Yes. I think there's a lot of lesson, you're right, to be learned here in terms of, the field, and the way that you would communicate in your personal life is very different than the way that you're going to communicate in your professional life. And that is really hard, because she was kind of doing the whole like, this is going to be hard for me. And that really didn't pay off, like you said. But yeah, I think as far as an intention for moving forward, sticking it out, kind of changing her mindset, and it's like not looking at the work that she's doing as it's like work for this person, and looking at it as it's like work for her and her future, and opening up the doorway to being able to negotiate in the way that you're describing, like being able to negotiate with power and being able to say, I did X, I did Y, I did Z, I did it independently, I didn't need it, whatever. Like, I would use this as fuel to fire your passion, to be able to show up at that 3-month review exactly the way you're telling her to show up. Show up with, these are all the things that I've done over the last 3 months. These are all the reasons why I will not accept less than X amount of money. And then you'll also have that confidence, and you'll have that resume, and you'll be able to go elsewhere have the power, like you said, the most powerful person in the room is the one who's willing to walk away. So the intention is, this hard work is for my future. Patience will open the doorway out. So work hard, be patient. It's 3 months, it's not 3 years, which I think you can withstand. And then if you work hard for those 3 months, it's going to open up that doorway for you to either play hardball with negotiations and let them see what they're going to be missing. Like this is for anyone who's working in a job that they don't feel they're getting compensated the way that they want to. Make yourself indispensable. Work hard to the point where if you leave, it's going to be a big loss for them. That's how you get them to, like you said, they're going to offer more money to the people that they think are going to be really serving their financial interests. So you dialing it in and pouting and, not working hard is only going to end up biting you in the ass in the long run. When it comes time to renegotiate. I know it's hard. It's not for him. It's for you.
Good intention. And I also, again, it's not for him. He doesn't own the law firm. And whatever number he was told to give you, if that was the case, might have been something that was given, a number that was given to him. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take it personally.
Yeah, that's true too. Yep.
Okay.
Good lesson learned here.
Indeed. Let's do some triggers. You want to read our first one?
Okay, yeah, I will read the first one. Hi, Dr. Naomi and Jordana. My fiance and I have been together for 6 years and have just completed our first year of living together. which has been really wonderful in many ways and definitely a learning experience for us both. Generally, I do most of the meal planning, grocery shopping, and cooking for us. Recently, I can't stop noticing that whenever I mention something to him, either in person or via text, such as, I'm going out to get groceries, or I prepped dinner for us, or I packed up a lunch for you, he will often reply with nice exclamation point or yum exclamation point rather than thank you for doing that or I appreciate you so much or anything along those lines. I find myself getting more and more triggered by these automatic responses. I understand that there's probably not much thought behind the words nice and yum, but that's the annoying part. I don't particularly enjoy doing any of these tasks, so it kind of makes me feel like my effort is taken for granted. I've mentioned to him how I feel about it a few times, but he keeps saying it anyway. How triggering is this actually? Am I being crazy? Thanks. Find a new adjective, please. Betch.
Okay. I also appreciate a good thank you, so I can understand being triggered by these things, especially if I think the important part of the email is that she says she doesn't like doing them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is the case sometimes it's like someone enjoys doing something and the other person doesn't necessarily feel as grateful because they're like, this person would be doing this anyway. They like, they like
Right.
making dinner and they like going grocery shop. Sounds like she doesn't like to do this and she does it a lot more than her partner. This is coming out in a lot of resentment, which I think she should address.
Yep.
Instead of just being silently. Maybe it's not that she wants more thanks. Maybe she wants him to go grocery shopping sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, so she said she already said this and he keeps doing it. So that is also annoying.
Yeah.
Like the first advice is like, let him know how you feel. I think she let him know how she feels and he's doing it anyway. And it's almost like she just wants a few more words. Like she just wants, I really
so easy to say
find
thanks. I appreciate it.
yes. It's not that hard. And there's something, it's a little uncomfortable for him. And like you said, sometimes the thing that makes you feel appreciated is the thing that's a little bit uncomfortable for the other person to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like yum exclamation point for some reason feels like I'm acknowledging it, but I'm not like being vulnerable enough to say, thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing that. Extra bonus points. I know it's annoying. Or
Right.
like, I know you don't really like to do it. And I really like, I think that's what she is leaning towards wanting is some acknowledgement of like, this sucks and you're doing it anyway.
Yeah. And I would say when next time he does it, I would say, remember that thing we talked about?
Yes.
You just did it again.
Yes. I would in the moment, like especially if it's in person, like if he does it in person, nice. You could be like, okay, do you have a minute? Like, can we talk about this? I told you I really don't like doing these things and I do them. So either one of two things, like I need to really feel like you appreciate and understand that I don't like to do this and I do it anyway, or maybe you can just do it.
Right.
Or maybe we could set up a schedule where if it's really uncomfortable for you to give me those extra words, then maybe we should just switch off because I really don't like doing it. And it would be great if I didn't have to.
Yeah.
I do think just like getting in someone's head and letting them know this sucks and I appreciate it. Like, perfect example. Oh my God, this was a shit show. On Friday, Jeff and I were trying to figure out dinner. And I was like running around doing a million things. And I told him, I'm going to the store. Do you want me to get whatever it is? And he sent me a text that was like, I thought said, I have chicken, just get breadcrumbs and whatever else, and I'll make chicken. So I went to the store, I bought all this stuff, I got the breadcrumbs, and then I forgot on the checkout, the self check, I left the breadcrumbs there.
Oh.
And I went home and I didn't have the breadcrumbs. And so he was like on the way home and I was like, I'm sorry, I forgot the breadcrumbs. Can you go back and get them? Then he goes back and he was like slightly irritated, goes back to get them, brings them home. And then he's like, where's the chicken? And I was like, I thought you said you had chicken. He was like, no, reread the text. And I must have read the text like quickly. And I thought he said he had it, but he didn't.
You got
So
nothing.
so he had to go back out again and get the chicken. And he was like huffing,
Right.
like
Yeah. That's
irritated.
irritating. Yeah.
So there was that urge to be like, it's not that big of a deal. It's 5 minutes away. Like, why do you have to, huff and puff? But I was like, very much like, I said, he was out. I sent him a text. I'm like, this is so annoying. If I were you, I would be so annoyed that I had to go back, not once, but 2 times.
Right.
Like, I was like really putting myself in his shoes about how annoying it was. And at that point, it's like, there's not much more you can ask for from a person
Right.
than like just saying, wow, this was really annoying. I really appreciate you doing this. So I think in these situations, it does go a long way to just be like, wow,
Right.
that's annoying. Every week you do this and you think to pack my lunch and you think of me before you're going to bed at night or whatever the thing is. Like, just putting yourself in someone else's shoes is really, really powerful.
Yeah.
Even if you have to like suck it up a little bit and humble yourself.
And it's so much easier than doing it yourself.
Yeah.
So much easier to be like, thank you so much. I really appreciate it than to go and have to
spend an hour at the grocery store.
Yeah, totally agree. So I would be irritated too, because that's really all she's at. She's not even asking him to do half of it. She's just asking him to just say thank you. She's telling him exactly what she wants.
Yes. Although so devil's advocate, because you said he's not even doing half of it.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, maybe there's something else that I see this a lot. There's something else that he's doing that maybe she's not noticing.
Right.
Because that happens.
That's a good point.
He might kind of be like, well, you're not thanking me for this thing. That's why I have this. I think I've showed this to you. I have it right here. This fair play card deck where you don't notice a lot of things your partner's doing, maybe because they're more like changing light bulbs and you're just like, oh, that's great. The light bulbs work. I didn't really notice like how that got changed.
Right.
So maybe there are, if I'm thinking, if it's really not 50-50 or like close to it or even or fair or whatever, then yeah, you're right. Like the least you can do is take 30 seconds and send a genuine appreciation note. But maybe there's something underlying because she said it and he's still not doing it. So that might be a question to ask if you're going to have the conversation.
I think in relationships, people should just constantly say thank you to each other.
Why not?
Why not? Right?
So easy. I love doing that.
I agree. I mean, sometimes
thank you for picking that piece of paper up off the floor. It's been there for 2 days. Really appreciate that.
Yeah. Honestly, I think then because everyone I think feels underappreciated generally. Like most people are not like, I feel like I'm so appreciated all the time. So I do think it's so easy. It's literally like 3 words. Thanks so much. Or thank you.
There's a block. People have a block. And a lot of times it comes from this thing. I don't feel appreciated. So I don't want to give it to you. So that might be a block, or there's like a vulnerability from childhood of like what it means to, let someone know that they're doing a good job. Maybe they've used it against you in the past. Like it can be complicated, but like you're saying, it should be easier than it is.
Right. I agree. I think I think if she said that it annoys her and he still keeps doing it, this is more triggering. This is like, I'd give it a 6.
All right. I was going to give it a 5.
A 5 is fair.
Because it's not like he's not acknowledging it at all. He's saying, yum.
That's
nice.
true. He's not like, can you put it at the table? Like he is saying something enthusiastic.
Or like, toast the bread next time. It was soggy yesterday.
I agree. I'll agree with you on the 5 because he is being enthusiastic. If you're not going to be thankful, enthusiastically peppy is a next best alternative.
An exclamation point was there. So 4 or 5. But yes, another conversation is warranted.
Great. All right, let's do one more. I'll read it.
All right.
Hi, Jordana and Dr. Naomi. I love you guys and the pod. I have a weird triggered. I was so mad in the moment, but maybe it's over the top. My husband and I, along with my best friend and her husband, were visiting a cute small town. There's not a lot going on there, but a few nice restaurants, wine bars, and bookstores. So pretty limited options. I tried to get a reservation at a restaurant I really wanted to eat at, but I couldn't. So we hung out in a wine bar playing cards while we figured out a plan. My husband went across the street to that restaurant and tried once more to see if they could possibly accommodate the four of us without a reservation. They said they were full for the evening, but there's a table in the lounge that's available first come, first serve, and it's empty. He came back to let us know that there's a table available. We had asked our server in the wine bar where they would recommend eating. She offered up 3 suggestions, one of which we'd already eaten at for lunch, and it was great. The second option was a cute restaurant across the street where I had wanted to go but couldn't get a reservation. And the third was a casual Mexican restaurant. The table of women next to us was eavesdropping and chimed in. We wanted to ask that too, and joined our conversation about places to go in town. She asked about the spot we had lunch at. I raved about it and I told her it was delicious and the drinks were great. Then she asked about that place across the street. I told her they didn't have availability, but just one table open in the lounge, and that's first come, first serve, and we were going to try to get it when we are done here. It felt like friendly bar chat. We didn't pay them much attention after that. We paid our bill and walked across the street, and lo and behold, these ladies were sitting at the lounge table. Our lounge table. The main girl we had been friendly with looked at me sheepishly, and the others didn't look up at all. I was furious, like probably irrationally angry. I don't know these women, but it felt like they took advantage of me and we got the short end of the stick for being friendly and conversational. Like they used me for intel on small town dining after I did all of the legwork. A reminder not to talk to strangers. To be fair, I mean, they didn't know me or owe me anything, but I would just never do this. Something that feels like they broke a code. It reminds me of the episode of Friends with Monica shopping for the wedding dress. She helps a woman in the expensive shop know where the sample sale is going to be to get a better deal, and then she shows up and steals Monica's dress before she can get to it at the sample sale. Anyway, how triggered can I be? This town ain't big enough for girl code.
This is really annoying. I would be irritated at this.
I would too. Especially if, here's the thing. I don't blame them if they let's say they're finished. They hear about this tip. I don't know if she said they were going to go there directly after. Did she say that? Or did she say that here's a tip? Yeah, so whatever. Maybe. If they went there, I think I could see them saying, "Oh, I didn't realize." If they went there, they were sitting there. If she said, "Oh, I didn't realize you were going to go tonight," or "I didn't realize you were coming over right now," like we're going to be done soon. I'm sorry for like swiping your spot. Yes. I would be okay, and I'd let her finish, and I'd do whatever. It's annoying that she like kind of lost eye contact with her.
Yes, that's the annoying part. I think if they were going to do it, like if that were me, I would be like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. Or, wow, sorry, I didn't know y'all were headed right over here, or whatever it is. Like I definitely think the lack of acknowledgement of the fact that they walked in and they saw each other, that part is really annoying. And they gave them the other option of the other place that they already went to for lunch. And they could have taken that option. Yeah. I mean,
would you do this? I'm trying to think. If you were the other people that you like heard about this table across the street.
No way. If I was, okay, here's the thing. I might do this if I just overheard the conversation and didn't engage, right?
That's fair.
I was sitting there and I overheard, oh, there's a table available across the street, I might even give Jeff the elbow and be like, go run over there and see if you can get it.
Right. Yeah. And then pretend you didn't know that they gave you that tip. If I'm being
honest, yes. I might do that. But what I wouldn't do is like act friendly and engage and like create like a relationship of sorts, like a little bit of like an interaction around it, and then go steal the table. Like that,
that's
I
true.
Wouldn't do.
That's douchey.
Yeah.
I'd be irritated too, because now what are they going to do?
They go back to the place they had lunch at, I guess, or go for some tacos.
Yeah, that's annoying. And then to like just avoid her when they had been speaking before.
I think the part that is interesting to talk about is that she's like, that's what I get for talking to strangers. Because I do feel like a lot of, like we've talked about this when I'm in New York City and I'm friendly to people, like I think interactions like this make people feel like we're not on the same team. Like you're against me. Like if there's a stranger in the vicinity, it's like I'm home team, you are other team. And these types of interactions, especially how they handled it once they saw them walk in, perpetuates that type of feeling of not like, okay.
Every man for himself.
Yeah. It feels like it makes it feel like every man for themselves. And I guess the truth is I'm saying I would do this if we didn't interact. But once you interact with people or even before, like, I'm not proud of the fact that I might be like, oh, I overheard there's a table, go get it. Like, that's probably not my proudest moment.
Right.
But once you're engaging with someone and you're kind of like, oh, hey, friendly, now there, like she's saying, there is a little bit of a code there once you're not like a nameless,
Complete stranger.
faceless
Yeah.
stranger. So I think that's why it's more triggering, because it feels like I'm letting you in and you're like using me.
Right. You're using that against me and not even
Hmm.
not even acknowledging. I wouldn't
Oh
be
my
as
God.
if
I'd be like,
if they
so
got there
sorry.
and she was like, even if she's lying, I didn't realize you guys were gonna come right away. I'm so sorry. We'll be finishing up soon. I wouldn't like make her get up, but I
Right.
would feel like, all right, she acknowledges there was some sketchiness going on here, or that she acknowledges that like this is my table.
Totally. And if there were, let's say there were 2 tables and they sat down at the other table, they'd probably be like shooting the shit and hanging out and, "Oh my gosh, this what a great place and thanks for the recommendation." Like, they'd probably be friendly,
Right.
like, "We just chatted 10 minutes ago across the street and now you're ignoring the fact that you know who I am because we were just engaged in conversation 5 minutes ago." So, that part is sketchy and annoying. I'd be mad for like 10 minutes and then I'd let it go, but I would be mad
Yeah.
for a little bit.
I'd give it like a 5.5.
Yeah, I would agree. This is
Maybe even a
this
6,
is
depends how hungry I am.
so true. Yeah, I could agree with
Would
that.
you ever say
But
anything?
maybe I would be like if I walked up and I saw them, I don't know. I don't know if I would, but I'd have the urge maybe for some passive aggressive,
Right.
like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that they're sitting there."
Right.
I don't know if I would really do that,
I
but
don't think I would do it, but yeah, I'd want
yeah,
to. All
I'd
right.
want to. Yeah.
Validated.
Validated, triggering. I get it. All right. I think
We did it.
that's about all we have for today.
Back next
Um,
week.
back next week. That's our time.
Great work today.